Alabama just knocked off Georgia in the 2023 SEC Championship game. 27-24, the Crimson Tide run the table and do everything you asked them to do this year. Obviously, they had the loss at Texas in week 2. A lot of people thought they were dead after that just terrible game against USF, benching Jalen Milroe. I mean, man, this team has come so far this season. I mean, they have the best resume in the country, bar none. They are a top 4 team. Do I think the playoff committee has the balls to put them in? Probably not. Not without at least maybe an Iowa upset over Michigan. Don't think that's going to happen. Or a Louisville upset over Florida State. Alabama absolutely dominated Georgia in this ball game. A couple injuries I wanted to get to. Not really a couple. Dallas Turner, Kool-Aid McKinstry, both of those guys collided on a play right there in the second half. Kool-Aid McKinstry was out for the rest of the game. Don't really know. It was kind of neck, head, shoulder area. So we'll listen to Nick Saban, see what he has to say about that in the post-game press conference. I'll put that update in the comment section for you guys. But Dallas Turner came back in pretty much immediately, I think on the very next play. And Trey Amos came in and played lights out for Kool-Aid. I mean, give it up for Trey Amos in the comment section. That guy he played as good as you want him to play. Coming in for Kool-Aid, stepped up a couple really, really big pass breakups. The very, very first play that he was in there, pass breakup, against Brock Bowers. Obviously, Brock Bowers pretty hurt in this game. He was toughing through it. Good on him for that. A really, really good football player. But Trey Amos came in, had a nice PBU in that very first play, and he actually even dropped a pick on a 3rd and long that, I mean, I don't know what I would have done if he would have intercepted that ball. Probably ran out the door screaming and yelling, down the road. Trey Amos played amazing. So, man, what a game that was. Alabama tops number 1 Georgia. 27-24. Man, give me your one-word reaction in the comments section. I am happy. Happy's my word. Give me your one-word reaction in the comments section right now. I cannot be more excited for this team. All the trials and tribulations that they have gone through this season. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. A lot of people said they were trash because they played pretty bad against Auburn last week, but gutted out a pretty good win. This team is 100% a top 4 team in the country this year. And you know what? It's probably one of Nick Saban's best coaching jobs so far at Alabama, I would say. All right, takeaways for this game. Number 1, the running game. Man, Georgia, could not stop Alabama on the ground. And at the end of the day, Alabama only comes away with 114 yards. It's pretty remarkable because every time you turned around, it seemed like Alabama was just gashing them. Only 2.8 yards per rush. It doesn't seem like that, though. When you're actually watching the game, Alabama was able to control the game on the ground. Jam Miller and Roydell Williams, I thought, played great. They played great when they had the ball in their hands, and they played great when they didn't have the ball in their hands. Being able to step up on a couple really, really big rushes from Georgia, especially on 3rd down, and be effective in pass pro as well. Jam Miller obviously had the touchdown reception in the first half, the very first score for Alabama on another 3rd and long. And Jam Miller, with Jason McClellan out, Jam Miller and Roydell Williams, I thought really, really stepped up in this game and was able to make a difference for Alabama. So, grade Alabama right now in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. How did you feel they played in this game? Wasn't their best performance, but it definitely was against the best team in the country this year. That is the best win in the country in college football this year. I don't care about Michigan, Ohio State. This is the best win for a college football team this year. So grade Alabama, A, B, C, D, or F in the comments section. All right, guys, I want to tell you about our sponsor today, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's easy. It's the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. No more battling thousands of other players and pros and sharks. It's simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. With basketball season starting up now, guys, you can do across different leagues. Football and basketball, you can combine them together in the league specials. This is a league created specifically for combo projections that include 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, you can pick LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at 10.5 combo for 3 points made and receptions. So those 2 guys just got a more or less 10.5 3 points made and Travis Kelce receptions. It's simple, it's easy, it's fun. Prize Picks even offers, this is my favorite thing, the reboot policy. Even if one of your players gets injured, for football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. And Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform to offer injury insurance. We saw what happened with Joe Burrow a couple weeks ago. Goes down in the first half. You don't just lose your money on that. Your play gets rebooted and it's all even. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for your first deposit match up to $100. One more time for you guys. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for your first deposit match up to $100. All right, takeaway number 2. Man, this defense was absolutely lights out today. Man, anytime you turned around, Georgia's been dominating people, and their offense has gotten better throughout the season. I thought when Brock Bowers went out earlier in the season, they were going to kind of go downhill a little bit on offense, and they just found ways. They have a lot of playmakers. This is a really, really good team. A lot of 5 stars on this team as well. Kirby Smart recruits just as well as Nick Saban. And, when it comes to game planning, he's up there as well. But, Carson Beck ends the day. He had a fairly good game. He didn't have any touchdowns, but no interceptions. 72% completion percentage, 21 for 29, 243 yards passing. But Alabama's defense, the last couple of weeks, they have not fared so well in run defense. Well, tonight they did. Georgia only had 73 yards on the ground. Milton had 42 on 13 carries. He did have 2 touchdowns, but those were kind of just, punch-in touchdowns. And Edwards only 38 yards on 10 carries. This Alabama defense was able to step up time after time after time. And one big play, too. It ends up being a 3-point game at the end. That cute play that Georgia tried to pull late in the game, where they try to do the fake to the running back, the wide receivers come in on kind of, it's not really a reverse, but kind of like a more of a jet sweep type play. And Carson Beck flips it up to him and they fumble the ball. Alabama ends up getting a field goal on that drive. 3-point game. That's a 3-point swing. That ends up being one of the biggest plays of the game for Alabama and against Georgia, obviously. But this defense, man, I cannot say enough about him. Tyrion Arnold had one of the best games I thought of his career. It's saying on the stat sheet he's only got 1 pass breakup. I think it was more than that. It's saying Kool-Aid only had 1 pass. That might be more reasonable, 1 pass breakup for him, just because he doesn't get thrown at a lot. And then at the end of the game, he was out with that injury. But what I was saying earlier, Trey Amos, he gets 2 big pass breakups in this game. Obviously, that one to Brock Bowers, and then that one that dropped interception. Man, I just keep saying it over and over again. You couldn't ask for more from this defense. 2 sacks on the day. Everybody came up big. Everybody was filling their gaps. I saw multiple times where Caleb Downs coming downhill from that safety position, setting the edge or making the tackle. The corners on the outside did a great job setting the edge. All your help's on the inside. Your linebackers, your defensive linemen who are, chasing the play, they're all on the inside. You set the edge, makes that whoever it is, running back, wide receiver, anybody, go inside, and there's more help in there. So, man, Alabama's defense has come up big all year long. They've had some trouble in the last couple of games, but tonight they played their asses off. And, kudos to the Alabama defense. And kudos to Kevin Steele, man. He has been absolutely incredible this year. He has turned this defense around from Pete Golding. Everybody felt the same way about Pete Golding. He was absolute trash. We saw what he did to Ole Miss's defense this year. They weren't very good either. But, man, Kevin Steele, round of applause for him in the comments section. All right, right now, who gets the game ball for Alabama? I don't know an individual player. You could maybe point at a Trey Amos, maybe. I thought he came in and what he was able to provide for Alabama. He doesn't play much. So him coming in and playing big, there's a lot of times DBs come in and they immediately get picked on. There was none of that from Trey Amos. Jalen Milroe didn't have the best game ever, but at the end of the day, 2 touchdowns, 192 yards. Wasn't able to run a ton, 29 yards. But if you're giving it to one player, I'm giving it to Trey Amos or Roydell Williams. Both of those guys contributed on the offense and the defense for Alabama tonight, and in a big way. The next takeaway, guys, Alabama did something tonight that they haven't really been able to do a ton of this year, and that's they got the ball at the end of the game and they iced it out. They ran it down Georgia's throat. What seemed to be all night long anyways. That final drive, 6 plays, 40 yards, and, Alabama at the end of the day takes it home. They haven't been able to do that much this year, and it was really, really refreshing to see them take the ball right there at the end and ice out the game. I mean, Georgia, the best defense is having your offense on the field. And in a 3-point game, that was absolutely massive. So, Rammer Jammer in the comments section. Make sure you guys subscribe right now at Roll Tide TV. What does this mean for the playoff picture? I don't know. I've said it before. I said it in this video earlier. I don't think the committee has the balls to put Alabama in. I think they absolutely deserve to be in. But every single time somebody from that committee opens their mouth, it's just gibberish. They don't answer any questions, regarding anything that makes sense. Reese Davis asked if there was any way for Alabama to get in if they beat Georgia. And Boo Kerrigan just talks about, we're super excited for this slate of championship games, and it's going to be an amazing weekend, just a great weekend for fans. And it's like, that's not the question, bro. That's not the question. The question was, if Alabama beats Georgia, do they have a path to get in? I think at the end of the day, the 4 best teams in the country, not in any order, Michigan, Alabama, I think Georgia's one of the 4 best teams in the country. Washington probably gets in. It is what it is. They ran the table. They didn't have a terrible strength of schedule this year. I think they're definitely in. Texas probably getting in with that blowout against Oklahoma State today. So at the end of the day, we're waiting on this Louisville game versus FSU. Iowa probably doesn't beat Michigan. It would be fun if that happened. If both those things happen, I think Alabama's definitely in. I think there's no way. I mean, we riot if those 2 things happen and Alabama doesn't get in to the college football playoffs. But let me know right now in the comments section, with this win over number 1 Georgia, does Alabama get into the college football playoffs right now? Get in the comments section, Y for yes, N for no, and make sure you guys subscribe right here to Roll Tide TV and Rammer Jammer, baby.